Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander Cucking.
He's got a Foley.
And yeah, we're looking at something quite interesting today. Taking a stroll back. And there's somebody, or not back, forward, maybe laterally, I don't know. As somebody said on my first reaction, it's like, hey, you wanted more of the old sets, and you got them. Not quite.
Yeah. In this episode, they invented a fictional 1960s show inside a fictional book series about, crime and such, inside a fictional TV show called Stranger Worlds. So there's a 3-level deep fictional show.
Yeah, and the show inside that we're talking about is The Last Frontier.
Mm-hmm. Bit of a Star Trek allegory. Ain't trying to hide it, ain't attempting to. And it's obviously... They're not carbon copying TOS, because if they did, that would sort of recognize the absolute visual reboot of it, because obviously that look is Canon to Trek, so they can't do that. But they kind of like, the Icarus did. They flew close to the sun of parodying their own internal canon from the 60s. But it is different, but also the same. So let's look at the sets and just do a brutal comparison at the end. So yeah, here is Jim T. Kirk of the Spaceship Federation. I don't know. He's not Kirk. He's not whoever. What do you think of him, the vibe uniform?
Of the USS Adventure, yeah. I mean, his Shatner is really good. It's easier to see Paul Wesley as Kirk now, but the uniforms are very much a product of their time, as they're meant to be. It's funny, Ortegas kind of reminds me of like a Green Power Ranger, but I kind of liked his. I mean, the collar is a bit much, but I don't have a problem with this look overall. The patch is interesting. It's kind of reminiscent of First Contact with the patterning up on the shoulders.
Wow, so that's a pull out of the ether,
right?
Wow, okay.
I just noticed it now. Actually, no, it's kind of interesting. It's definitely got that period accurate look and feel. So, yeah, I think it's kind of great.
Well, I love the way you phrase it. Like it eureka in my brain. This sequence isn't a Star Trek TOS allegory. It's if a sci-fi show was made in the 60s to look like it was made in the 60s. Because TOS is not 60s dated. The costumes, except a few odd things here and there, they're meant to be future feeling. They are 60s inventing the future. So that's why it holds up really well. This is us backdating the 60s into the art design, which is why that feels dated instantly, because it's actually meant to feel 60s. Kirk's jacket does not feel 60s. Why would it? It's meant to feel future. So that, I think, is super interesting. So it is what Star Trek could have been, and it would have felt cheap and camp and silly and not stand test of time. There wouldn't be a TNG version of this 2 decades later, right? Like, this is the 60s camp, showing how actually amazing TOS is. It does not feel dated in the same way, because this feels 60s, which TOS doesn't, in the abstract.
Yeah, and these uniforms and these sets really highlight how good TOS looked, and how well it kind of holds up over time. Yes, as you said, some of the guest stars and some of the alien stuff might be a little dated still, costume-wise and stuff, but overall, the Starfleet uniforms and the bridge and stuff, yeah, this just makes them look so good.
Yeah, so this is definitely, disco feeling or something of the ilk, over showy.
And by disco, you mean 1970s disco, not Discovery.
Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you. Exactly. The deep line.
You got to clarify, because it's disco.
Thank you. Yes, the deep, very big, bold zipper. It almost feels like a tracksuit as well, which is not 60s, but like it doesn't have the professional fabric of TOS or any whatever. But all the hallmarks are still there, and I guess green wrap around it in a vague sense. But the set itself, here's a more general shot. The 60s. Not Nurse Chapel's costume is way too 60s, even to be on TOS, right? Which is the joke. Although they also make a joke about her skirt being shorter and shorter, and there was a shot where it's like that's a skirt.
That's the first shot.
Well, yeah. So it was good to make the meta jokes, but they all look very, very dated in a way TOS doesn't.
You say that, but like Chapel's outfit here is very reminiscent of the guards in the Lawn of Troyes, that they basically have like plastic placemats for shoulder pads and stuff. It's kind of got the same look, honestly,
but it's not glittery, sparkly, and it's trying to be slightly more more serious, not joke. And same with the stuff on the walls, right? Like, this is far more Lost in Space, which is let's just grab stuff and shove them on the walls, because which is wonderful for this context, of course, but like this does not feel like a spaceship in any way. Except the L cars, which amuse me greatly because they are just TOS displays.
Different colors.
Coloured. Because you can... I mean, I know them, right? I know these displays. Well played, sir. That I commend you for.
Yeah. And here, like I said, Ortigas's outfit reminds me of like a Green Power Ranger kind of look. Plus, she looks like she's wearing like a wrestling championship belt.
Yep. It also reminds me of the Galaxy Quest costume, the kind of one-piece jumpsuit with the big shoulders, but in a colour, which I did research on recently, and it's definitely quite similar.
Yeah, and they do have like little ray guns attached to their belt, which are okay.
Well, they feel like the TOS toys that were terrible back in the day, where they had literally a ray gun, right? That ultra vintage. And I just noticed, Kirk has got a cup holder.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Was that a thing in the 60s? Cup holders?
Probably.
I
don't know.
And of course, one TOS-esque detail on the wall. Yeah. Which is funny because I'm kind of, in a silly kind of way, I'm surprised this set feels super cheap, but they've got really lovely, big display screens which they would find very difficult. Like, I almost wish those were more rubbish to kind of fit in.
And it's funny because the one behind Ortigas, the like brown and yellowy one, that one is very reminiscent of one we see in Star Wars at at the Lars homestead in the background. It's a little that kind of vibe, but yeah.
No, it's a fun cheap set that is the 60s and not Trek, but they've done both. They've done a good job.
And to be fair, they did get the right chairs for the because those are literally the chairs that they used in TOS, just with extra backs put on them to make them higher. Yeah, the captain's chair, it's narrower. It gives you the same general vibe, but yeah.
If you go to the next shot, you can see both the fallen apart version, which is tremendous because you can literally see the real chair underneath it, which shows you how much a frame matters, because it just gives you an entire different a vibe.
Like, it looked really good. It looked very TOS.
And a lot of that's the colour being thrown on the walls, like all the tricks. Because if this was lit like a flat set, it'd feel like a kids show, and it kind of does already, like a you know. But adding the high-end cameras, the good color grading, the harsh lighting, all the TOS tricks, it elevates it more. So you can buy it as a NAF 60s replica set versus a children's set from today, even though it is silly looking, because it is.
And speaking of the harsh lighting, there were quite a few moments where the lighting like would fade from one side and brighten up on the other side of his face, and like the zoom in, and then the dun, 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 very dramatic. That was great.
Oh my! Have they got carpet? Is that carpet or is that plastic? No, it's plastic. Oh, it's plastic with a sheen that does in fact look like carpet in stills. So good for them for sort of trying.
Yeah.
But I'm interested though. If we jump straight into TOS, and this is the difference between a parody and the reality, because you think of Shatner making these long pauses and the way he speaks. We watch TOS, he talks like a normal person and then sometimes talks weird. In fact, Sisko often talks more with those dramatic pauses because he's actually very, very similar to Kirk in that regard. He has the same similar acting. So now we've gone from the parody. This is the actual TOS. Now, obviously, I'm cherry picking shots, but I found a random episode that had shots of overall set. Right, I could find more color, more like the sick bay. But I associate the bridge the set's looking more like this with the more flat lighting. But there's no big harsh lighting. Everything's well balanced. These don't like what we just saw. These look like serious sets. I know we're obviously hyper biased, but I don't think either feel 60s. What about either of these feel 60s, right?
Yeah, I mean, some of the color choices, like the primary red and yellow doors on the other one picture, are a little bit. I wish there were a little bit more uniform, maybe, or kind of more muted colors. But they were showing off color TVs at the time. That being said, this set is not anywhere near as colorful as the one we just looked at. So, yeah, it's all very, I think, tastefully done and much. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it's a functional space, and you can see on Spock's or the entire console. What's brilliant about them is that they forethought touchscreens in a sense that those flashing lights are obviously touchscreens. They aren't just to display information. I'm sure you can click them. That there's 3 layers of controls: display that's flat, mid layer that's display that's flat, lots of them, and then a few buttons that are very minimal and variable. There's no giant levers. There's nothing looking silly. It's all really neat, really simple. You know, as I always joke, you know, this is how we've made advancement. It's simple as hell with minimal. That's what the TOS has done here. It's as simple and minimal as possible with having incredible design choices that feels advanced and functional. Whereas then if you go straight back to the next one, you compare that to this, instantly it feels horribly dated, the 60s, compared to Sulu, which is clean, minimalist, simple, yet productive, and then parody, silly, over the top, non-functional. Like, that's what I'm just saying. Like, TOS is amazing. This is a funny parody, but it is not, you know, TOS is not as garish as you think from the parody.
Yeah. The levers are a big representation of that for sure. Also, the over dramatized makeup on the actresses. They'd had more like theatrical makeup in TOS, but it didn't look quite as garish. So,
but you know, it's just interesting to compare the two. Like, what your brain thinks of things, and then you see this comparison. It's like, no, it's pretty normal a room, right? Like, it's not as radical as you remember. It makes you appreciate TOS even more. But
the big display screens with the active moving things is quite interesting. The TOS didn't quite have that. They just had the static images up there. So,
but of course they have no function. You can tell they're just there for fun, right? Whereas TOS, everything has a function. So it's entirely achieved the goal, right? What I liked almost most about it, besides the over the top design, is that they actually use sound effects, which obviously they own as CBS.
Yeah. I noticed that.
So it just is the 60 sound effects, which sound great still. You know, they're being attacked sound is the thing. Like, there's nothing. They just use the effects, which is lovely to hear on, you know, Stranger Worlds.
Yeah, there you have it, guys. A look at the sets from A Space Adventure Hour. Dun dun dun.
Coming to a show, a cable network near you soon.
Yeah, The Final Frontier. Can't wait to watch all of the episodes.
It would be fun if someone would go in and just make a 4x3 version of this. Because it almost feels weird to have it look that cinematic. Like, make it less maybe mute the colours a little bit and 4x3 it and reframe it a little bit more grey and see how it actually feel as a 60s. Because that would have been a nice double thing if they'd done it that way. But I thought of that.
But guys, comment down below what you thought about these sets and about our look at them, and let us know anything you'd like to let us know. That's what the comment section is for.
Truth, yeah.
Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and don't forget to click the notification bell icon to join us for lives and all the other edited content we do here, and we appreciate it.
And if you want to support what we do here directly, because you know what? We've done a few things, we've got a few things coming, etc., then please do by Patreon. It is monthly, or join the channel, also monthly, and those monthlies are genuinely essential, and we thank you in advance for any and all support or one-time donations to help what we do and keep us doing the fun stuff, the silly stuff, the real stuff, the stuff you really want to see, etc. That is PayPal at trekyards@hotmail.com, or super chat during a live, which we absolutely love the interaction, or super thanks on any video. It's crazy.
That's right. So until next time, he's Commander Cockins.
He's got a Foley.
Bye, guys.